Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at sustainability and green skills.
Yes.
And wow, you've really given us a lot of interesting sources for this one.
We do.
We've got everything from straight-up educational materials to like some pretty in-depth reports. I even saw some stuff about hands-on lab work.
It is a diverse collection.
It is a very diverse collection. So hopefully by the end of this, we'll have a good idea of how all this connects and what it all means.
Definitely. And I think one thing that's really fascinating is how all these sources point to a global shift that's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Sustainability is no longer just a buzzword. It's becoming a core principle.
Yeah.
For businesses, individuals, even governments are getting on board.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because one of the first things that jumped out at me was this whole idea of environmental literacy.
Okay.
It's not just about knowing environmental facts, it's about understanding them deeply enough to act on that knowledge.
Yeah, that's crucial. It's about giving you the power to make informed choices.
Yeah.
In every aspect of your life, from the
Right.
food you eat to the career you choose.
Yeah.
These sources make it clear that knowledge without action, well, it's just not enough.
It makes me think about that concept of an ecological footprint.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that measure of how much land and water your lifestyle actually needs
Right.
to sustain
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah,
And it really makes you think about how much am I demanding from this planet?
it does.
Like every little choice we make.
It all adds up. And what's cool is that there are online calculators you can actually use
Yeah.
to measure your own footprint.
Yeah.
So you can personalize this concept and see the impact.
I've used those calculators, and it's amazing how even small changes
Oh, yeah.
can make a difference.
They can.
It almost becomes like a game, you know?
It
You're
is.
trying to shrink your footprint as much as possible,
Mhm.
but with real-world consequences.
Absolutely. Real-world consequences.
Of course.
And speaking of consequences, these sources don't shy away from how urgent the situation is.
Right.
The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change reports that even if we stop
All emission.
all greenhouse gas emissions, today we're still likely looking at a 1.5 degree Celsius increase in global warming.
That is a pretty sobering thought.
It is.
And the potential consequences of that warming are not small.
No.
We're talking about melting glaciers, rising sea levels, more extreme weather events.
All of that.
Things that honestly we're already starting to see.
Yeah, this isn't some distant threat. This is happening now.
Yeah.
And that's why all of these sources emphasize sustainable practices across the board.
Yeah, they go beyond just like the why.
Right.
They actually delve into the how.
They do.
And one key aspect is understanding the three pillars of sustainability,
Right.
environmental, economic, and social.
You can't have true sustainability without all three.
They're all connected.
They're interconnected. Yeah, take environmental sustainability,
Okay.
focusing on things like conserving biodiversity, using resources wisely.
Yeah,
But that can only happen if we also have economic sustainability,
right.
meaning businesses need to operate in a way that's profitable and doesn't drain our resources.
And we can't forget social sustainability.
No.
Making sure everyone has a decent quality of life.
Exactly.
Like a three-legged stool.
Yeah.
You need all three legs to be strong for it to stand.
Exactly.
I thought it was interesting that the sources actually give some pretty insightful examples of these pillars in action.
Yeah.
Like the Swachh mission in India.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That tackles both sanitation and waste management.
It's a fantastic example of a large-scale initiative that hits both environmental and social sustainability.
Yeah.
It's improving public health while making communities cleaner and more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And they actually have a two-phased approach.
Oh, yeah.
The first phase, from 2014 to 2019, primarily focused on sanitation and hygiene,
Yeah.
with the goal of eliminating open defecation in rural areas.
And they achieved that goal.
It did.
Which is amazing what a focused national effort can accomplish.
It is.
And the second phase, from 2020 to 2025, is building on that success by focusing on solid and liquid waste management.
It's ambitious, but it's important.
Yeah, they've set this goal of making all cities in India garbage-free by 2026.
Yeah,
And given their track record, I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled it off.
I wouldn't either.
What I thought was really interesting is that they're not just focused on building infrastructure,
Right.
they're also working to change behaviors
Yeah.
and create a culture of cleanliness.
That's essential. Even the most advanced infrastructure won't work if people aren't on board
Yeah.
using it correctly.
Right.
These sources really emphasize that education and community engagement are crucial to the success of any sustainability initiative.
It's about giving people the knowledge and the tools they need
Exactly.
to make choices that benefit both themselves and their environment.
It is.
And while the Swachh mission is a great example of a large-scale initiative,
Right.
these sources also highlight the power of individual actions.
They do.
Things like conserving energy, managing our water use, reducing waste, all contribute to a more sustainable future.
They do. It all matters.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that we all have a part to play.
We do.
even small changes can add up and make a big difference.
They can think about it this way: if you choose to walk or bike instead of driving,
Yeah.
reduce your meat consumption, become more aware of your energy use,
Yeah.
you're making a tangible impact.
All those everyday choices.
No matter.
They,
And here's the thing, as more people make those choices,
yeah.
it creates a cultural shift towards sustainability,
Okay.
which can then influence businesses and policymakers to make even bigger changes.
It's like a positive feedback loop
Yeah,
where individual action inspires larger systemic change.
absolutely.
Now, speaking of inspiring change, these sources all introduce a really fascinating topic.
Okay,
The role of artificial intelligence in sustainability.
that's a big one.
It's mind-blowing to think about how AI can be used
It is.
to tackle these massive environmental challenges.
And it goes beyond just the obvious applications.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, of course, we have things like AI-powered smart grids,
Okay.
which can optimize energy distribution,
Yeah.
reduce waste,
Right.
and make it easier to integrate renewable energy sources.
Right.
But AI is also being used in really innovative ways.
Okay.
For example, AI algorithms are being used to analyze satellite imagery to track deforestation
Wow.
and monitor wildlife populations.
It's like giving conservation its a superpower.
It is. And then
Yeah.
you have AI-powered drones being used to monitor crop health
Oh, wow.
and optimize resource use in agriculture.
That's incredible.
It is powerful technology.
Yeah.
And we're only just beginning to explore what's possible.
This has been a fantastic start to our deep dive.
It has.
But we're running a little short on time for this segment.
Okay.
Let's pick this back up in part 2,
Sounds good.
where we'll explore even more examples of green technologies
Yeah, definitely.
and the growing demand for green skills.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our deep dive into grease skills and sustainability.
We covered a lot of ground already,
We did.
from the urgency of sustainability
Right.
to that incredible potential of AI.
It is pretty amazing.
But I'm excited to delve deeper into the world of green technologies.
Okay.
Because it feels like every day there's some new breakthrough
There is.
in renewable energy, sustainable transportation, or even just eco-friendly materials.
It's a really exciting time to be following this field.
It is.
These sources highlight a wide range of technologies
Okay.
that are already having a big impact.
Like what?
Well, for instance, think about renewable energy technologies.
Okay.
Like solar, wind, hydro, geothermal biomass.
Those are a lot.
They are, but they're all viable alternatives to fossil fuels.
Okay.
And they're becoming more efficient and more affordable all the time.
Especially solar power.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that has just exploded
It has.
in recent years.
The innovations in solar panel efficiency,
Yeah.
coupled with the development of those massive solar farms,
Yeah,
it's really changing the game.
for sure. And we can't forget about wind energy,
No, absolutely not.
both onshore and offshore.
Uh-huh.
All those wind farms harnessing this powerful natural resource
Yeah.
to generate clean electricity.
It's impressive, but it's not just about generation.
What else is there?
Well, the sources also talk about the crucial role of energy storage.
Oh, right, because the sun doesn't always shine
Exactly.
and the wind doesn't always blow.
And we need a way to store that energy for when we do need it.
So how do we do that?
Well, that's where advancements in battery technology come in.
Okay.
Lithium-ion batteries are becoming increasingly common.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of buzz around solid-state batteries,
Okay.
which have the potential to be even more efficient and safer.
That's good.
These batteries are really essential for making renewable energy more reliable and practical.
It's amazing how these technologies are all coming together.
It is.
But what about the grid itself?
Right.
How do we manage all this energy efficiently?
Well, that's where smart grids come into play.
Smart grids.
Yeah, these intelligent systems use data and automation to
Yeah.
optimize energy use, seamlessly integrate renewable sources,
Yeah.
and ensure that the grid remains stable even as we transition away from fossil fuels.
So it's like having a brain for the entire energy system.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
Constantly making adjustments
Uh-huh.
to maximize efficiency and minimize waste.
And speaking of brains,
Okay.
AI is also playing a growing role in optimizing energy consumption.
Oh, wow. How so?
Well, AI algorithms can analyze vast amounts of data
Okay.
about energy usage patterns and then adjust systems in real time
Oh, wow.
to reduce waste.
It's like having a personal energy assistant,
Yeah,
making sure you're using energy as efficiently as possible.
that's a good way to put it.
Okay, so we've talked about energy,
Right.
but what about transportation?
Okay.
That's a huge source of emissions.
You're right, but there are some exciting developments in green transportation technologies.
Like what?
Well, electric vehicles or EVs are becoming increasingly popular
Yeah.
as battery technology improves and charging infrastructure expands.
It seems like every car manufacturer is now producing EVs.
It does,
But what about other forms of transportation?
right?
Is there any hope for making air travel more sustainable?
There is, the sources mention sustainable aviation fuels, or SAFs,
Okay.
which are made